everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mia and I run Sticky Kitten Crafts. I'm so excited you're here today because we are going to be kind of checking in. I know it's been a while since we've last spoke, so we're going to kind of do a little recap of what I've been up to, and then we are going to talk about kind of what I'm going to be up to over the next couple of weeks, which I'm pretty excited about. So we'll just jump right into it. So if you remember from one of my last couple of videos, my spring market season has just not been going as well as I would have hoped. So I signed up for 4 markets originally. One was going to be a 2-day market in May. The market that I signed up for in March they said they were already full, but I could sign up for the one in April. So that's what I did. That was the one that I did in early April. Now, when I was going to do that, I was kind of nervous because there was a second market in April that I had signed up for, and I guess thankfully I got denied from that one, so I did not end up having 2 April markets, but I had the one in early April, and then I was going to have the 2-day market in May. Unfortunately, the one in May got rained out this past weekend, and I believe they're going to be rescheduling it for the end of May, but they decided to reschedule it over Memorial Day weekend, which I personally already have some plans going on because it is Memorial Day weekend. So I'm not sure that I will be able to attend. When they decided to cancel the market, they sent out an email asking people to respond with whether they could do those dates, whether they could not do those dates, or were kind of a maybe. I put myself in the maybe category because I might be able to make it work, but might not as well. So that's kind of where we were at with that one. But we'll see if they end up keeping those dates. I haven't heard anything further from them since they canceled it on Friday, and today is Tuesday. If I'm not able to do that market, I'll be pretty bummed because this was definitely going to be my biggest kind of market of the spring. And I intentionally didn't sign up for other markets because I knew this would be a 2-day one and I would have to put a lot of time into getting ready for it. So I'll be really upset, just like sad, if you will. Not like, I guess kind of mad, but sad that it won't have happened. I also have a ton of inventory just sitting right now, and it just like hurts my heart to have all this stuff just sitting around and not be able to sell it. So, you know, it is what it is. But I also have another 1-day market coming up in June. I've never done that market before. I'm really not sure how it will go. I've done I think, similar market to that kind of setup that they're going to have, and it didn't go super well for me. So I don't know what to expect. I really don't. I'm not getting my hopes up that will be a really big market though, because I just don't know I don't really know what it is, but I think it's within a shopping center and it's indoors, and I believe I'm only going to be able to have 1 table, which will also be really hard because I have so much inventory and I want to bring it all. And again, it is only going to be like a 1-day market. I'm pretty sure the hours are pretty short too, so we'll see how it goes. But unfortunately, like I said, my spring plans have not come to fruition like I was hoping, but we'll see if we can maybe do something else, maybe summertime, just given that I have all of this inventory sitting around. So with that being said, given that my market was canceled this past weekend, on Friday night, after I heard that it was canceled, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I to do with myself? Because I don't really need to market prep anymore. Now, I will say there are a few things that I had wanted to still get done for this market and hadn't quite finished yet, so I will eventually be getting to those couple of things, but in the grand scheme of things, I really don't have a lot to do to get ready for my next market, so I'm in a really good place where I can start working on some of my works in progress or my little creative ideas that have been sitting in my head for a while that I just haven't had time to execute on. So I will say my creative juices started flowing during this last market prep because, again, I had so much inventory that I didn't need to be doing a whole ton leading up to this market. And I'll talk about my inventory a little bit. So I believe after my market in April, I still had about, I think like $5,000 plus-ish of inventory. I think in the last month I created about another $1,000 of inventory. So right now I'm sitting at a little over 6,000. I think my amount of inventory, like dollar-wise, that I had at the end of April is slightly more than what I was originally, that 5,000 plus-ish number, because I had a lot of items that I hadn't really inventoried appropriately in my spreadsheet or on my website. So there were some things that I had that I was trying to sell that I wasn't accounting for. So it might be a little bit, more, but I believe right now at this point I have around like $6,100 of inventory. So I'm feeling really good, especially if I'm able to do this 2-day market upcoming. I'll have a lot of inventory and I'll have a lot of very like different things, which makes me excited. So I've talked about this a bunch on this channel, but I think that something that sets me apart with my booth is that I do have a lot of different items that a lot of people don't make. So it's something that I enjoy, just making a lot of different random things. However, it makes my display very chaotic. So it is one downside if you want to be making a bunch of like random different things, but I don't know, we make it work. It works out for me. So yeah, so a couple of things that I've been making that I was really excited about making. I made these giant plushy goldfish by Crochet by Jenna. This is a new pattern that she put out a few weeks ago. I love this pattern. I love these goldfish. They're so cute. I made them with an 8mm hook like she recommends, but quite honestly, I'd probably size down to either like a 7 or a 6-ish size hook, because the stitches are a little bit wide, I guess that you could say. There's gaps kind of using the 8mm hook. And I have tight tension, so I don't know what other people are doing, but I would size down your hook if you decide to use this pattern, but that's just my general recommendation. The next thing I made was this little splooting Barnaby the Bee pattern. I believe this is Y2K Crochet. If it's not, I'll include the name up here, but I love this pattern. It was so cute. I've been wanting to try it for a while, and it is the Feels Like Bliss Lion brand yarn that I used for this, and I've never used that yarn before, and I really liked it. The only thing that kind of stinks about it is it's very stretchy because it's basically a chain. And so if you stretch it out too much, it kind of just loses its structure and becomes very like spindly, I guess you could say. I don't really know how to describe it, but it just kind of pulls out and it's not great. But as you're crocheting with it, it works fine. The only problem I ran into was when I was trying to sew and it kept kind of stretching out, and that was where it became a little bit more difficult. But otherwise, I would say I do really like this yarn. I want to try something new with this yarn. I have no idea what yet, and part of the reason is because I'm a little bit psycho. So I basically decide what kind of yarn I'm going to use for a project, and then I will never use a different kind of yarn for that specific project. Like in my head, that project is made with like Burnout Blanket, or it's made with Sweet Snuggles Light, or it's made with Burnout Velvet, and that's the only yarn you can make that project with in my mind. So I don't know, I'm psycho, I'm crazy, I don't know, but that's just how it works for me. So I need to be very careful with what I decide to make with this yarn, because otherwise I may decide I'd never want to make said project again if maybe I can't use that yarn. So I'm having a similar issue right now with my brain, because I made these very cute I made these very cute axolotls, and I made them out of Sweet Snuggles Light, and given the problems with finding Sweet Snuggles Light right now, I cannot replenish the one that sold at my last market. So I'm really having some problems in my mind of if I can make them out of Burnout Blanket or not. I mean, I know I can, but in my mind, I cannot get over that barrier. So anyways, we might wait to replenish some of those things until the Burnout Blanket is back. And I will say I have tried the Premier Parfait Chunky. It's just not the same for me. I feel like those would be in a completely separate bucket as opposed to Burnout Blanket and Sweet Snuggles Light. Do you feel me? I don't know. Comment down below if you would do the same thing, but that's just how my brain works. So Yes. So those were two of the new items that I made. I've also been making bucket hats, and I was really excited to have this market because I was like, oh, perfect for bucket hats. So I've been making them in a bunch of different sizes, like same color, different size kind of thing, so that people could do kind of a mommy and me hat or a older kid, younger kid matching hat. So I'm very excited about those. I really like them, and hopefully we'll be able to sell some sometime soon. I know I've talked on this channel some, but unfortunately my Shopify is not doing well. So it is basically only markets where I'm making any money. I'm just not getting any traction in my Shopify store. So I think I could do a better job of trying to market it on platforms like Pinterest or other things. However, I don't know. I guess I'm not a good salesperson in the online space, which is crazy because that's what I work in, but I don't know. I'm having a really hard time getting people to my shop. And I've been watching a lot of YouTube of other creators, and I feel like a lot of their sales come from people that watch them on Instagram or YouTube or things like that, and I just haven't gotten any traction on that front, which is fine. I don't want you all to go out and buy I would love it if you went and bought something for my shop, but I don't know. I just need to figure out a better something to start getting sales on there. Because it is pretty frustrating to only be able to sell at markets, especially when you have markets that rain out like I had this past weekend. It's just not very reliable income. Not that I necessarily need this income to live off of. I have a full-time job, but it's nice to have that extra reliable income, if you will, so you can do other things with it. I do have a few ideas for trying to make this better, but I'm not quite ready to share them yet. I think one of them I will share later this week because I am working on a new pattern. That was part of my creativity excitement that I had this past weekend. So yes, I am excited to share that. But I think this week we are going to be working on a bunch of our whips, and I'm going to make it a broad whip working on thing because I have a lot of whips that are just sitting in bags behind me that I need to clean up and get done. But I also have a lot of whips in my mind that I want to work on or create. So I think we're gonna do a little bit of both and see how that goes. So I will probably check back in with you guys later. I'm going to be working on I'll tell you a little bit now. I'm working on a new pattern. I made it this past weekend and it turned out really well. I wrote up the whole pattern as I was going. Yesterday, I took the time to type it all up and then downloaded the pattern as someone would if they were going to be doing it. And I'm going to be doing the pattern again just to make sure it has everything that it needs in it. And then I'll hopefully be taking some photos and start teasing a pattern test at the end of this week. And so hopefully by the time this video is posted, the pattern test will be live. So if you would like to do the pattern test, you can do that. I'm not sure exactly how I want to do the pattern test this time. The pattern test that I did last time went well. However, I think I had one or two people that I chose and then they just never got back to me with any feedback. So I kind of don't want that to happen again, but not too sure how to mitigate that. So yeah, I need to see what I kind of want to do about that. But I also last time had a bunch of first-time pattern testers or people that didn't have necessarily a crochet Instagram. So I think this time I'm going to make it so that they have to have a crochet Instagram, not just a personal account. Just so that, again, it's kind of they'll post on their page, other people will see it, that kind of thing. I'll be very frank and transparent. My last pattern test, I've not had a single person buy the pattern. So it was kind of just a lot of work for me to go through and create the pattern, do the pattern test, put it up on my website, And then like I didn't really get any traction because again, a lot of my pattern testers, like 2 of them kind of flaked, and then a couple of them didn't have any like a crochet Instagram or anything and didn't share it. So yeah, I think I learned my lesson on that one. I was trying to be very inclusive and kind, but it made it harder, honestly. It really did. So I think I'm going to do a little bit more vetting this time, and hopefully we'll get, I think even if I only had like 2 or 3 pattern testers, as long as like they're good and I can tell that from their Instagram, I think I would rather do that as opposed to having like 7 like I did last time. So we'll see how it goes, but that's just kind of my general thinking on that. Hopefully we'll learn more this time. This will be a bigger project, so I may have fewer people willing to test it as well, just because it's a little bit bigger, but we'll see. So that's where we're at. I know this intro has been long, but I feel like I have not caught up with you guys in a while, so just wanted to give you kind of a general sense of what I've been up to. And like I said, I will probably film a little bit of my process of like getting my pattern ready and doing the pattern tees this week. And then again, hopefully by the time I post this, it will be up on my website or on my Instagram, so you can try to test it out. So I will check back with you guys hopefully later today, and we'll see how far we get. Alrighty, so I've been working a little bit on my new plushie pattern. So I made all 4 of the legs so far, and what I did was I made the little bottoms, the hoofs, if you will. I made them weighted. So I actually bought those little foot socks like you would use at a footwear store, a shoe store. And I put one of those down in there and then filled it with some poly pellets just to give the arms a little bit more weight. I didn't want to do like the full arm in poly pellets. That would take a lot and would be very expensive, but I'm just kind of testing this out. I had wanted to make some weighted plushies, but wasn't quite sure how, but I think that the little socks will work perfectly. Again, I kind of put it down in there, folded it around after I had done a few rows, filled it with the poly pellets, and then tied it off so that the poly pellets won't go anywhere. So it's all secured down in the little hoof, and now I'll just stuff the rest of the leg with stuffing. So I have my legs, and now I'm going to start on the body. I also have been trying to take photos as I've been going along to include in my pattern, which is great. So did that, and at least for the legs, because I wanted to try and show you visually in the pattern how to do that. So did that. Now I need to make the tail, because that is like a no-sew into the body, and then need to work on the body. So let's see how much more we can get done today before the sun goes down. All right, so I'm back. It's about 7, I think now. So I just had to run a few errands after work, and then I got about this much done earlier today. So I don't know if you can tell what it might be yet. Probably not. I had to look back at my last clips from earlier today because I was like, did I even say what I'm making? And I didn't. So glad I am now refilming this because yeah, we'll keep you in suspense for a little bit longer, but this is what I'm doing. So I did the legs in an interesting way, and I'm pretty excited about how they're turning out, and I'll show you why once this is more completely done. But I'm hoping I can finish up the last little bit of this project so I can take any additional photos that I need to put into the pattern. But the sun is kind of going down, the light's not as good anymore, so I might have to wait until tomorrow to basically finish up any last photos that I need, but we'll see how it goes. So anyways, this is what we have so far. I'm so excited for this. I think this will turn out so cute. Again, I already made one but in a different color combo. That might give you an idea of what I did, so, or what I'm making. So I know in my video earlier I was talking about how I was gonna work on some whips this week. So yesterday I had jury duty, and if you've never been to jury duty, it's a lot of sitting and waiting around, and I was one of the groups that wasn't called, so I basically just sat around from 8 a.m. until 2:30 p.m. With a lunch break in there until I was dismissed for the day. So I knew that that could be kind of what I may be dealing with, so I ended up bringing a project that I wouldn't need scissors for, because as you know, if you are going into a courthouse, you should not have any weapons on you. And I wasn't sure if even my very tiny scissors would count. I have already gotten some of my scissors confiscated at the airport, and I didn't really want to buy any more, so I was like, well, we'll just see how this goes, and I should just bring a project that I don't need any scissors for. So that basically means I started on a new sweater. So I am making another autumn olive sweater. I love these sweaters. So this is the bottom ribbing. It looks pretty see-through, which I'm a little bit worried about, but I think it will be okay. I'm actually kind of glad about that, because this is the Lion Brand Heartland yarn, and I have made a couple of other sweaters with this, and it is hot. So I think if it has a little bit of, you know, see-throughness, it's fine. I'll just like wear something under it, so, you know, whatever, you can't see anything. But this is a nice sweater pattern because the top is pretty wide, so you have kind of those drop shoulder type looks to them. I'm gonna make this one quite a bit longer, and actually you can see I have it sitting probably where I'd want it to go down to, so I have a lot left to go. So this is gonna take a while, but I was glad I got this much done yesterday at jury duty. I thought that was a pretty good start to that whip. I actually already started the front, and I'm a little bit nervous because I think this one might be, I don't know, I think my gauge might be a little bit different than what I started originally with for the front along months and months and months ago. So I might have to rip that out for the front one, and then I'll just do a new front similar to this. But I'm gonna make the back first because the front has a color graph on it, and I've made this sweater multiple times before, and I feel like sometimes when I don't make, the first time I didn't make the back first. I was so excited to do the color work, so I made the front first. And then the sweater ended up being pretty short because I just followed the pattern as is, but I'm tall and I have a long torso. So I always now make the back first because it has no color work on it. I can get a sense of how many rows I have and columns, I guess you could say, or stitches across, and then I can easily center my graph to wherever I want it, based on how big the front is going to be, because the front is going to be the same size as the back. So that's that. So hopefully I probably won't finish this week, but we'll see. You never know. I mean, I very likely won't finish it this week, but I do kind of want to get this whip out of my hair because I do have a lot of yarn set aside for this project, and it would be nice to clear out that bin in my storage so I can use that for something else. So that's that. I've also been making a bunch of bucket hats. I think I maybe mentioned that earlier in the video, but wanted to make a couple of red, white, and blue variants for upcoming 4th of July. So we'll see about that. And since while I was out and about, I did receive an email updating me about my market from this past weekend. So they basically took my I might be able to attend as a I won't be able to attend, and they offered me a spot at their fall market, which is like the exact same thing but just in the fall. So I think I might take them up on that, but I definitely need to figure something else out for the upcoming months. I have way too much inventory. I'm also going to be crocheting between now and that market isn't until October. So I'm going to have way too much inventory in my house, and I just simply cannot have that anymore. So I need to offload some of this. So we'll see what I want to do, how I want to sell it. But yeah, something I didn't update you guys on either, I just have so many updates because I haven't done one of these videos in a while, but my fiance and I were talking a lot about how it's so upsetting that I can't have an Etsy shop anymore because they shut my shop down. Again, I have no idea why. I think I filmed a video about this a long while ago, or it was part of one of my other videos. I honestly can't remember, but I know I've talked about it on here a bunch. And so yeah, basically one day they just came in, shut down my shop. No warning, no explanation. I submitted like 10 different appeals. And then after the like amount of time that elapses that you have to appeal, they told me that I never appealed, even though I did like 10 times, and they just kept shutting down my appeal tickets. You also can't get in contact with anyone at Etsy, so yeah. And then when they shut down your shop, you can no longer use your social security number for a shop. So what we ended up doing was we set up a shop under my fiance, and he's going to like manage the like finances of that, so I can sell some of my patterns on Etsy, because I really do feel like it's just the best platform to try and sell patterns on. I did also put some of my plushies on there, so hopefully we'll start getting some traction from that, but quite honestly, it's been crickets over there. I might have to do some ads, but I think I'll do ads once I have this new plushie pattern done and up on there, so we'll see. But so I am kind of back on Etsy, but we'll see how it goes. I hope I'm being very careful this time. Like, I'm not adding any single thing that could get me into trouble. I am worried a little bit that some, like, obviously the plushies that I make are, some of them are like other people's patterns, but I always check the patterns to make sure that they say you can sell in small quantities, and I always try to credit them. That's something I need to go back through and just make sure I have it on every single one, but I would just hate for someone to be petty and then like, you know, report me. I did one time have, I've talked about this I think in a previous video. I have these little hat holders. These ones are half done, but I was making those, and I did put one up on my Etsy, not realizing that in the pattern it said like you cannot sell online, and I felt so bad. The girl actually reached out to me. She was very kind about it. She, instead of reporting me, she did reach out and was like, hey, like, you know, you can't sell this on your Etsy, like I explicitly said in my pattern. And so I just took it, I like told her I was so sorry, I didn't realize, because I didn't. And actually I gave her a tip, because it didn't have in the pattern that you couldn't sell on any website or like online. She only had it in her listing. And on Etsy, I don't know about you, but like I don't really read the description all that much. Like I look kind of at the photos, but I don't always read the description. I always read the full PDF pattern though. And so I did let her know that she should add it there, because like for someone like me, it was an honest mistake and I did just miss it. So just, you know, keep that in mind if you're a pattern maker and you don't want people reselling the finished products. But that's the only thing that I could really think at this point, from based on what I have on my shop, anyone could try to shut me down for, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure what other kind of products I'll eventually want to add on there. I used to have a lot of stickers. I'm not sure if one of those maybe got me kicked off. Who knows? But I'm being extra careful. I'm basically only going to use it, hopefully, for like finished crochet, plushies, and my patterns. So that's that. I'll put anything else that might be, I don't know. I don't want to say like questionable, but I'll put everything, like I'll put anything that I'm feeling a little bit like, ooh, I don't know, or ooh, someone could, you know, report me or shut down my shop for this. I'll put that on my Shopify, but yeah. So that's that. I will try to finish this up and we will see how far we get. I'm currently watching the Real Housewives of Orange County, if you're a Real Housewives fan. So I'm gonna put that on and see how it goes. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to finish up this little guy tonight, or definitely tomorrow, but hopefully tonight. So I will see you guys later. Good morning, everyone. Today is now Wednesday. So last night I was not able to finish my plushie, but I got up a little early this morning so that I could try to finish it before I had to get to work. So I'm very excited to show you my new plushie pattern. This is the Highland cow variant, and then the first one I made was this standard cow variant. So in the pattern, I added in notes about how to do both, like what colors I use, and then for the cow, there are certain color changes that you can just kind of ignore for the Highland cow. So I love how this turned out. I love his little loopy hair. I'll include a photo here. You can also make him without the hair if you don't want to, but I think he turned out so cute. I love his little loopy fluffy tail as well. So like I said, I think my pattern is in a good spot. Now that I finished up the second one, I just added in all of the kind of like finishing pieces so that you know where to sew everything onto. And I think basically the last thing I need to do is just add in some additional photos. As I was making him, I did take quite a few photos just so that people could kind of better understand how to attach the legs and things like that that may not be super straightforward. Also some pictures of his face just so you could really see where the eyes are placed, where the snout is placed, etc. So that's these two. I think they're so cute. Like I said, I think I maybe said before, I wanted to make a plushie where the joints were pretty movable, especially the legs. So he could actually probably basically sit, yeah, he can sit up. I'm not holding him by himself because he has those really bendy kind of joints. So I'm in love. I really am. I think he is most perfect. So if you're interested in testing this pattern, I will be posting it on my Instagram. I think this time around, last time I included a few people that only had TikTok, but I think this time around I'm only gonna include people that also have an Instagram because we had a nice little group chat where everyone could chat about the pattern and it just made it easier. So I think that's what we're going to do. And yeah, we'll kind of go from there. But if you're interested, go check out my Instagram for sure and sign up. There will be a Google form. I might also put it in the description down below, just so that you can sign up to test if you would so like. So yeah, I think a couple of things to note if you do want to test. The body takes about, like the plain color, especially if you do the Highland cow with the loops, it does take right around 300 grams of yarn. So that's like one ball of burlap blanket. And then obviously you'll need a little bit of an accent color. So he does take quite a bit of yarn, like again, about a full ball of the main body color. And then similar for the cow, you will need kind of like a grayish tan, the pink, a little bit of black, and then the white. But for this one, the white is probably more like, I don't know, maybe a little more than 200 grams, I would guess, or right around 200 for the black and white cow. So yep, I think they're so cute. So I'm gonna release this pattern with, again, kind of the color modifications for both. I'm not gonna release them as separate patterns since it's exactly the same thing, exactly the same pattern. And then I just included, again, a couple of notes about how to color change or add on the hair if you would so like for the Highland cow. So that's that. So I think later today I'm going to get my pattern test all set up. I'll probably tease this on my Instagram. Today is Wednesday, so I'll probably start posting about the pattern test tomorrow, and I'll probably have it open for about a week. So you'll hopefully be seeing this on Saturday or Sunday when I first post it, and then so you'll still have about 4 or 5 days. If you see this video a few days after posting, you should still have a few days to sign up. So if you happen to miss it, then be on the lookout for the pattern that will be posted on my website. So very exciting. So I think after again, after I finish up kind of some finishing touches for the pattern and get all that squared away, I think I'm gonna work on some additional bucket hats. So I started making this one last night. You can see it's like a red, white, and blue variant. I thought this would be good for summer with 4th of July coming up. So I have all of the flowers. I just need to make the outside. I think I also would like to finish up any other like color combinations that I want to have available, just so that I can put them all up on my Etsy and kind of have everything set up appropriately. So I think that will be my next biggest goal throughout this week. I also have a ton of cotton yarn that I really just kind of want to be dwindling down. I bought it, most of it for this specific purpose, but also for some other couple of random purposes. So I want to try to just dwindle it down as much as possible, and make these bucket hats. Hopefully they'll sell, because I do already have quite a few, so we'll see how that goes. But if you're interested in buying one, you can definitely check out my website or my Etsy. Hopefully I'll have them posted before I have this video posted. So yep, so that's that. So I will check back in with you guys later when I am able to work on some more things, and I will let you know how the pattern posting is going. So I will see you then. Hello, so it is now Wednesday night. It's about 9:30, so I think what I'm gonna do is work on a couple of bucket hats. Like I said earlier, I started making one and I'm pretty much almost done with it. Just have to sew all the squares together and do the brim. And then I started another one in a new colorway, so might try to finish those two up tonight, and again just kind of decide on other color combos that I want to do, and then we'll go from there. But I don't think I'll probably get that much done since it is already 9:30, so we'll see what we can do. But I think I already posted on my Instagram and my TikTok about my new pattern, and I made this really funny video and then no one liked it, so that's fun. I don't know if the TikTok algorithm, it has been changing again, because I've noticed that, yeah, it's just not hitting like it usually does. So not that my videos usually get a ton of views, but it just seems a little bit off. I don't know. So I think I'm gonna watch some TV and then, like I said, make the bucket hats. And I will check back in with you tomorrow and we'll see what else we can get done this week. All right, hello everyone. It is now, I really have to stop moving after I start talking, and I have to stop talking when I start moving. Anyways, I don't remember if I chatted with you this morning. I think I did. I think I probably mentioned that I launched the pattern for my cows, and it's been doing better this afternoon, so that's good. It finally got a little bit of traction, but still not doing great, so that's okay. Hopefully I'll get a little bit more traction on some videos in the next couple of days before I launch my pattern test, because I really do want to get, you know, a decent views on my pattern test so that I can get some good pattern testers, but we'll see how that goes. I was working on a couple of bucket hats earlier, and then I also made this axolotl. So if you haven't seen before, I released this pattern on my website a couple months ago, and this is the one I was talking about, I think, in my video yesterday. I did the pattern test and a few of the people weren't on Instagram, and it was just kind of a messy pattern test in my opinion. So that's why I kind of want to change things up for these cows. But I just did this axolotl, I made him and did a full YouTube tutorial. So by the time you're watching this video, that tutorial will probably be up. So if you're interested in making one, definitely go check that out, because again, I decided to just make it as a video on my YouTube and hopefully get people to be a little more interested in it, because I haven't sold a single one since I put it out. So that was it's really been a bummer. But I will say, honestly, these axolotls, last market I had, I sold, I think, like 4 or 5 of them, and I had quite a variety. So yeah, definitely like a good option to make. I think I sell them for either $10 or $15, but they're a really good, you know, cheap make. This one I might sell for a little bit more since it's made with the Sweet Snuggles Light. Usually I don't make them in this size. I usually make them in this more pocket size. So here you can really tell the difference between the Sweet Snuggles Light and the Bernat Velvet. But yeah, you could use either type of yarn. A lot of my pattern testers also tested in Bernat Blanket, so definitely an option there. So anyways, I just did this, and then I think for the rest of tonight I think I want to finish making up my bucket hat color variations, because I really want to get those up on my website and make a couple of videos just showing all the different color combos I have. And then wanted to just finish out my cowl pattern, making sure I included all the photos that I wanted to, do some final proofreading, so that then that way on either Friday or Saturday, tomorrow's already Friday, so maybe on Saturday I'll actually release the pattern tester call. So we'll see how that goes. I actually don't have any plans this weekend. I'm really happy about that, so I can start working on some other fun things. We'll see what else I can get to. I do have a big, you can see some of the balls of yarn there. I do have a big tapestry project I'm working on that I want to release the pattern for, so might try to finish that this weekend. I also have some other balls of yarn here for a shirt that I've been making my fiance since like January. So I kind of want to finish that off this weekend as well, just to like be done with it and get it out of my sight. I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of dealing with it. I really like it, but it is just annoying. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, nothing else too exciting going on, honestly. I did check out, so a couple of days ago I started ads on my Etsy page specifically for my axolotl pattern, and yeah, still no one has viewed the page. Honestly, since I started up my new Etsy shop, I've gotten basically no visitors, even though I'm doing all the same things I used to do. So I guess things have maybe changed, but I kind of wanted to do some brand, I guess SEO research is really what I'm trying to say, this weekend as well on Etsy, just to see kind of what's going on, what might work well, that kind of thing. And then make some ideas for other either patterns where there might be gaps, or making some tapestries, things like that. So we'll see what we have kind of going on, but that was kind of my plan now that I don't have my market upcoming and I don't have a lot to do for that. So I actually do have a little bit of stuff that I still need to finish for my next eventual market, but I think that my next market will not be until that one in June, so I still have quite a few weeks. And again, I don't know what my table setup is going to look like, so I really don't want to make anything else too much, because I think I might only have one table, and right now I have enough to fit 3 tables. So we'll see, but I am going to go. I just filmed that tutorial video and I have a headache from talking so much and sitting awkwardly while trying to film it, so I'm gonna go rest a little bit and finish up one of the bucket hats I'm making, and then I'll probably check back in with you guys later tonight, maybe with some fun bucket hat colors that I've made, or maybe with something else if I get sparked with a new idea. But I will see you guys then. Hello everyone, happy Friday. I am so excited that it's Friday because I have so many things that I want to work on this weekend, so we'll see where the weekend gets me. But let's see, since I spoke with you guys yesterday, I have been working on a bunch of different bucket hat color combos. So I, again, wanted to kind of build out all the color combinations that I want to regularly offer on my site and make one of each, so I can make a little video and also take some photos this weekend because it's supposed to be nice and sunny. So this is one that I started yesterday. I actually don't know how I feel about this color combo. I kind of like it and kind of don't. I really like the blue and the orange, but just not sure about the outside blue. So we'll see if that one does well. I also made this little color combo. I think this one is perfect. I love this blue color. It's just perfect all around. So need to finish up those two hats. The last little color combo I am putting together is this bright yellow, bright pink, and bright blue. Oh, I have two more. I have two more. This one I made, or I finished off yesterday. This is going to be kind of, you know, like a red, white, and blue America Yay one. I also went to the University of Arizona, and that is their colors, so definitely would be a good one for schools that are also red, white, and blue. So that is another color combo I have. I don't know if I showed you this one yesterday. I feel like this is a pretty standard color combo, just the little white daisy with the green. This is one you may have seen before. I love this speckled yarn. I need to go get some more today because I love it so much. I think it's so cute. I made this purple one. I feel like people will like this. If they like purple, I feel like this green color is usually one that kind of goes with the purple. It kind of reminds me of Monsters Inc., honestly, but I needed I needed something purple. I have a lot of both this purple and the green, so I kind of wanted to try something cool with those. So anyways, that's how that one came to be. And then this is a one-off hat. I made this one out of Lily Sugar and Cream. This is actually a much bigger hat than some of my others. It doesn't fit poorly, but I do have a pony in. But it is much bigger just because it was made out of Lily Sugar and Cream. So anyways, those are the color combos I have so far. And again, I will have this one, and then the other pink and blue one. The last color combo that I have not started yet, I'm going to do white center, blue flower, orange outside. So I have an orangey kind of color. I think one final color combo. I know I have a lot of color combos, but I want to have a lot of variety. I think I'm going to do multicolored flowers. So I'll probably do either these light yellow centers or I have a lot of this kind of gold color yarn. So I'll probably do that with a fun petal color, and then the hat will be more of like a tan, not this kind of multicolored tan, but just a plain tan for the more plain Janes, but who still want a little bit of spice, like having the multiple different color flowers. So that is all my color combos. So need to finish up these last 5 hats. I probably won't do all of them before tomorrow, but that's kind of the plan, is to have 5 more color combos. So once I have that, I'll have 10. Perfect. So, yeah, 10. So I think that's a good amount of color combos. It's not overly outrageous because a lot of these are using similar, like the same colors throughout. But we'll see how it goes. I do want to offer them in multiple different sizes. So once I get to market prepping, I'll probably have to decide, hopefully I'll have made some online sales so then I can decide which ones are my best sellers. But I have some other ideas too for like, I want to maybe make some overalls, baby overalls that match the hats. So we'll see, but that's where that's at. I've also been working on basically making a list of all of the things I want to buy when I go out today. I need to get some yarn for multiple different projects. I don't think I'm going to tell you what they are yet, but a lot of them are actually going to be wearables because I'm going to be returning to the office soon. So I kind of want to have a couple of fun pieces to wear to make me happy while I'm sitting in the office. So, and then I also lastly want to work on, I came up with a genius idea today. So I think I probably want to work on that this kind of like weekend maybe, but also want to, I basically have some tapestry patterns that I really want to get working on. So hopefully gonna grind some of those out this weekend if we can, but we'll see. I'm gonna need to do some testing on those, but like myself testing them, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think I'm gonna run, right, like I said, right now. I need to go get some more cotton yarn from Hobby Lobby. I really don't like shopping at Hobby Lobby, please don't hate me, but it's like literally the only place where I can buy cotton yarn close to me, and I just have to see and feel the colors. I should try to order some online for like maybe future projects, but we'll see. If you have a good cotton yarn that you like, let me know down below. I think Hobie has a lot of cottons, so let me know if they're kind of comparable. If you've ever used the I Heart This cotton, I really like how soft this is. I don't particularly like Lily Sugar and Cream only because it's so rough, and it's a little bit bulkier in my opinion than the I Heart This cotton, so just let me know what you think down below if you have other options. I am more than happy to switch. I just want some good recommendations. I hate ordering yarn offline because I can't feel it, I can't see it, I don't know what the colors are gonna look like, and I'm just not sure what I'm getting into. So if you have good recommendations, let me know. Last thing I want to do is I want to run to Joann for maybe my last trip. I got a notification that they have everything is starting at 70% off now. So wanted to run over and see if there was any last yarn I wanted to pick up because that is a steal of a deal. So gonna go do that, but we'll see what the weekend brings us. I think this weekend is going to be a lot of fun, hopefully. But we'll see how it goes. So I will check back in with you guys later on after, hopefully, maybe I'll have some footage of like Joann, and I'll show you what I pick up at Hobby Lobby. Hello, I'm a total idiot. I went to the craft store and I didn't even think about, sorry for this, I didn't even think about how I still have all of my market junk in here. And then at Joann, they were like, oh, can we put your stuff in boxes? So I am overflowing, but I still do need to go to Hobby Lobby. So we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna have to put it like somewhere, but we'll find some room, and then I need to clean out my car when I get home, and I will show you guys everything that I got. Hello everyone. So I got a lot done since I last spoke with you yesterday. So today is now Saturday evening around 6 o'clock. So yesterday after I spoke with you, I ended up going over to Joann, and I really went because I saw that like a push notification from their app, and it told me that everything is now 70% off. So that was one big reason I went. I also know that my Joann previously, like I had gone maybe a couple of weeks prior, and they still had a ton of stuff. So I was hoping that would be the case, and it was. I think my Joann was probably one of like the top performing stores in my area because it was on the list of ones that would stay open the longest. So that's been really nice. So I went in yesterday and they had everything 70% off, and then they had another deal where if you bought, I think it was like 20 items, which like easy, you get an extra 30% off. So it was insane. So I went in, and I think I have some videos, I'll try to include them here. They still had a lot of big twist yarn, kind of all of the kinds. No posh, but they had a lot of the plush, they had a lot of their just big twist value, and then they had a bunch of their other kind of like random types of big twist that maybe aren't as popular, like the very colorful ones, things like that. So saw all of that, and then they still had tons of burnout blanket. A lot of the burnout blanket they just have in big giant boxes. One of the bad things I will say is a lot of the boxes, they have the yarn in individualized plastic wraps. I guess they probably do that because these are ones that they're picking and packing from the warehouse, and they don't want the warehouse workers to like throw it on the floor and get it dirty, is my guess. So there's a lot of those going on, but it is kind of nice. I'll explain a little bit more in a minute, but yeah, a lot of plastic going on right now over there. So I got, let's see if it tells me how many actual items I bought. Okay, I bought 46 items, and most of that was Bernat blanket, baby blanket, etc., etc. I think I got 4 velvets. I got 2 Caron Simply Soft. They had one, I have it right here. They have one of these really hot pink colors, neon pink they call it. So I decided to get this, and then I got a color that would go with it so I could make a hat out of that one. And then I got a couple of snaps because they were, I think, yeah, 80% off. So I was like, I don't know, I might eventually need snaps. I also saw a pack of paintbrushes. I always need random paintbrushes for stuff, and mine are always so crusty. Those were also 80% off. So I ended up getting, again, 46 items for a total of $109, which is crazy. All the Bernat blanket ended up being about $2.52. Same thing with the velvet yarn. The Caron Simply Soft was $1.15. So that's crazy. I think I might go back, honestly, either tomorrow or Monday and just see what else they have. By today, it's 12 days left that they're open, so tomorrow will be like 11 days. Honestly, I was feeling a little bit bad about taking too much yarn at one point, but honestly, at this point, like, these sales have been going on for a month now, so I'm just gonna go in and buy a ton of stuff if I can. The reason I can do this is because, well, actually, sorry, I'll get to that in a minute, but I have a new solution for storing some of my yarn, which is very exciting for me. So, but before we get to that, I did also go to Hobby Lobby yesterday, and I got some yarn for a couple of projects. I'm very excited to try this new, it's new to me, not new to them, I don't think. It's called this Ethereal Eyelash Yarn Bee yarn. It's so soft, so soft. I'm making a very cute cardigan for my return to office with this, so I'm very excited about this. They didn't have enough skeins, so I am a little bit worried about that. Hopefully I have a couple of other Hobby Lobbies like kind of in my area, so if I had to drive out to find another one, there's one pretty close to me, about the same distance, so I could probably go find it there. But I'm very excited about this. The only bad thing is it is a $7.49 yarn. All the yarn was 30% off this week, so that was good. But I did that. And then I got home and I was like, I've been feeling very overwhelmed because I didn't have my market like I was supposed to, and I just have a lot of my market stuff sitting in my house. We have a pretty small 2-bedroom townhouse, so there's just not a lot of space to put stuff. I have things stored in my actual closet. I have things stored in basically our one and only storage closet. That's where I currently have all of my market makes. And most of my bins, my tent, everything else is just like sitting out in my living room. And it just feels so suffocating and overwhelming because I have so many things. So I really want to get things cleaned up, and I wanted to find a new space. So I decided I was going to bite the bullet and look for a storage unit so I could put all of my plushies that I already made in storage, put my tent. I'm gonna leave my tables at home because those are kind of annoying to be dragging around, and my storage unit is kind of up on I have to go up an elevator and walk a long way, so I'll leave those at home, and again, I can easily put them under my couch, so those are not a problem to me, but a lot of my other things are a problem. So I found a storage unit for only $8 a month, which I was so excited about. So I ended up getting like a 5x7 one, and honestly, the $8 a month for me is so worth it. Like, to have peace of mind that I don't have all this clutter around will be so nice. So I got that all set up yesterday, and then I went this morning to go and put everything that had been sitting in my car, because I literally just didn't have room to put some of my market stuff that I had prepped last week before my market was canceled back into the house. I just didn't want to do it. So it's been sitting in my car. I can barely see. When I went to Joann's, I couldn't even like fit my yarn boxes in there. So it's been a whole mess, but I am so excited that I got the storage unit. So I went, dropped everything for my car off this morning, and I think tomorrow I'll make a second trip. I'll probably have to make a few trips, but probably will make a second trip to pull out all of my to bring all my bags of my plushies that are already made. I also have 2 boxes of yarn that are basically overflow. I got a lot of extras yesterday, so I would say probably most of what I bought yesterday at Joann's is gonna go over there, the equivalent of that amount of yarn. Last night I cleaned out my yarn shelves again, even though I did just set these up. I don't know if that made it into a video or if I ever posted that, but a little while ago I did buy a bunch of cubes for in my room so that I could store all my burlap blanket, because it was sitting on my plant stand and it was a total mess. So I got the cubes and I rearranged everything. I think I have a photo here. This is all the yarn, all the burlap blanket yarn that I currently own. So yeah, we have a lot going on here. So anything that was a duplicate, I put in the box, and I'm just going to take it over to my storage unit. My storage unit's only like 8 minutes away from me, so I can easily just store all my stuff there. If I have to run over and grab something, it's not going to be that difficult. So that's going to be my solution for now. The only problem I was thinking about this morning is that I will have all my plushies that I've made in storage, basically. So if I start selling things on Etsy, I'm gonna basically have to be running over there all the time to be finding the plushies to then bring back to my house and sell, or like package up. But I mean, that's not a current problem, so that's a future problem that we're gonna deal with. But for now, it's not a problem. A problem that I'm sad I don't have, but I don't have it. So we'll just see and play it by ear and figure out how that goes. So yeah, so I went and did that this morning, which was super exciting. I think after I get everything kind of moved over there and settled, I'm gonna do a clean out of my room. I need to look through. I have so many bags of like random yarn. I just need to get everything cleaned out. So that's something. I also, this morning we were talking, I was telling my fiance, I don't think you can see them, but down right below me, I have like probably like 5 bags and a laundry basket of works in progress. So I told him that what I'm going to do is I feel very frustrated with myself that I haven't finished all of those things. So I'm also going to take those over to my storage unit, and every month or so, I'm gonna make it a priority to go get one of those bags, bring it back home, and work through all of those items so that I can just be done with it. He told me that if I do that before the end of the year, he'll pay me $1,000. We will see if he actually follows up on that, but I'm very motivated by people doubting me, so I think he doesn't think that I'll be able to do it. So I'm going to really try very hard to get that done. I think honestly, just knowing what I have in here, it could be done. It really could. But I do just need to make sure I'm putting time and effort into it. I think it will also help me like be more focused if I only have one of those bags at home at a time. So that's what I'm gonna do, and it will be a good thing for me to work on, especially over the summer. While I think I'm just gonna have that one market in June, and I'm not gonna have any other markets until the fall, and I already have like $6,000 of inventory, so I'll still be making things. However, I don't need to be making a ton of stuff. We'll see how much. I need to figure out how many markets I'm going to apply to in the fall, but I do have a 2-day market in the fall. I got rescheduled from the one that got canceled last weekend to the fall one, so I will have that, but we'll see how that goes. That's in October, early October, so I'll probably try to do one in September, and then maybe like a couple November ones, maybe early December, but the last one I did in early December outside was freezing cold, so I don't think I want to do that again. I definitely need to be somewhere that has some heaters or heat or something, so yeah. So that's what I've been doing. I've also been very diligently working on more hats. So I did this little hat color combo. I'm really happy with how it came out. I think this one is a great color combo. I wasn't too sure about it, but now that it's come together, I knew I had to trust the process with this one, but now that it's all together, I think I do really like it. So that's that. I don't think I made any others yesterday that I didn't know. Not that I didn't show you. So I have 4 other color combos. I was gonna have 10 total, but then I found a bag of random yarn last night, and I found a bunch of skeins in there, and I was like, oh yeah, I was gonna make this color combo too. So I'm gonna have 11, and so I think I have 4 color combos left to make. 2 of them are already basically started. I just need to finish making the squares and put the hats together, so that's cool. This upcoming week, I'm going to be doing some fun things. So I ordered a cowboy hat, and there's been a pattern that I've been wanting to do for a while. I'll include a photo here. That's going to be something that I'm doing this upcoming week. So definitely I'll try to vlog this upcoming week as well so that you guys can see. I'm hoping it won't be too hard. I think it's just like basically granny squares and you put them on the hat. We'll see how it goes, but going to do that because I'm going to the Halsey concert on Thursday. So I also need to go right now and order a shirt for that. I have an outfit idea in my head, but I just need to make it happen. So the only thing I'm going to make, I think, is the cowboy hat, but that's should be easy, I think. So yeah, and then today I did, I've been very busy today. I also posted my cow pattern test. So I haven't gotten a lot of traction on it on my Instagram. So if you're interested in doing a pattern test, definitely head over to my Instagram, check out the link. I really would this time like people to have a crochet Instagram where they'd be willing to just share the pattern test and kind of like share out the pattern. I also would like you to be on Instagram because last time I set up a group chat and it was really helpful to have everyone in the same place to answer questions. Well, I'll say I had some people not on there, and so it made it complicated because I had to be answering the same questions kind of across multiple platforms. So I'm only gonna have people that have an Instagram. Sorry, but it's just, it will make it easier, I think. So that's what we're gonna do. So yeah, I think this upcoming week I have a lot of projects that I want to start working on. I got quite a bit of yarn at Hobby Lobby yesterday because I have 4 big projects. 3 of them are going to be wearables. Sorry. I have 4 wearable projects and 1 tapestry project. So I have 4 major projects that I need to be working on, along with my cowboy hat and along with finishing off these little granny square hats. So I think tonight what I might do is just try to finish off my last 4 color combos, get all 4 of those hats completed, and then that way I can post them tomorrow, because I really want to get all of these up on my website and on Etsy, because I feel like summer is coming, so I need to get with the game and get these up there. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll probably start a new vlog tomorrow, Sunday, and we'll see where we get in the next week. I may also, probably in my weekly vlogs, I don't know, I'll probably include some information about how my work in progress is going, or I may do short update videos. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, I would, if you're interested in seeing how far along, I will. In these, I have so many random things, like random projects. I have blankets, I have little baby vests, I have tapestries, I have table runners, I have sweaters, I have literally everything, and not even all my whips are in these. I actually also have a whole big bag of other whips, so I have a lot going on, and I need to get it together. So I'll probably take all of these ones over to my storage unit, and then I'll probably keep that, like maybe a bag and a bin to start with. I know those are the ones that I've been working on most recently, so I'll probably keep my bag sitting here and then the bin, and then we'll go from there. But all right, I think that is everything. Sorry this is a longer video. We'll see if I can keep it a little bit shorter next week, but I like to chit chat, as you can tell. So I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully I will be making some fun projects next week, but I will see you then. If you don't already, please subscribe to my channel so you can get future content and other videos like this. If you like this video, please also like it down below. I will see you guys soon.